Oh, you ready? Evan, you ready? All right. So how do we do inputs? Now, so like I said, everything that you learned in CodeHS is valid here, except for how we set up the file, right? And the other difference is input. So all the other stuff like creating the variables and doing all sorts of that processing, it's all the same. This, we call this the basic programming template, right? So I can make a new file, or I can use the same one. So let's make a new file today. So file, new, Java. And this time we're going to go class, we could call it second program, or we can say intro to inputs. So how do we get user input? Because this is different than CodeHS. So once we learn this, how to do input, then everything else is the same as CodeHS that you've learned so far. Okay, so again, we've got to start with a class, then our class name. Class names, the rules are no spaces and capitalize the first letter of every word. Unlike a variable name where this one would be lowercase in a variable name. So we open the class and we close the class. Then we indent. Every time we open and close curly brackets, we indent. Then the next is public. What's next? Just remember, static, void, main, string, open close brackets, args. Square brackets. Now we got to open this. What is this thing called again? What is this called right here? The main method, right? So remember, this is called the main method. Now, anytime you hit that run button, the program starts in the main method. You can have other methods, which the grade 12s will learn shortly. But for now, we program everything in our main method. So again, all our code, all code goes, right? So again, this is our basic Java template. The only thing that's different each time is the class name. Now notice that when we save this file, so you go file, save as, and you want to save it in that same place, sample folders, sample programs again. So go file, save as, go to your G drive. Again, if you don't find your G drive there, you may need to log in here at the bottom again. So find that G drive and then go to where you want to save it. So ICS3U and then sample folders. I'm in Java desktop files. I'm saving this all in my ICS3U AM class. So grade 12s, if you need it, let me know. I can put that in there too for you guys. But now that's on Brightspace because of the Google Drive. And on Brightspace, all I did was create a link to that Google Drive folder. So that is immediately, right now, already on Brightspace. So at least for the grade 11s. So now what code? Now we learned how to output already in CodeHS. So system.out.println. Hello everyone. We learned how to do that already. You can just test it. So I can compile it first, or I can compile and run at the same time. Any errors would show up down here. There's no errors. So now there's a little bit of lag on my side here, but then I can hit the run button and you can see hello everyone shows up there. Hello everyone. Here we go. So that's the output there. Now you can always clear it. Notice that from the last time I had the program open, I still had this program from yesterday. So you can always clear the output here and just run the program again if you want to see what your new output is from your new run of the program. Sound good? Of course, anytime you make a change to the program, you should recompile it. So again, or you could just recompile and rerun it. Of course, even if I just go straight to the run button, the run button does try to compile it. And you can see now it does give me the error because I removed the semicolon. Okay, so that's just a review from yesterday. Now, let's learn how to do input, which is the other thing that's different. In order to do input, we need to import at the very top, before you open the class, you import java.util.start. So java.util.start. So this is required for it. Now, in order to get input, we use something called a scanner. Think of a scanner like the scanner that you put photographs in and you scan them into the computer. Nobody does that anymore. People just take photos with their cell phones. But before we used to have a scanner because we had a physical photo and we wanted to scan that into the computer. And they're probably still better quality than taking a picture with your cell phone. All right, so this is required for user input. So you need to put that at the top every time your program involves user input. So it means if you're asking the user, please enter your name, or please enter the date, or please enter your age. If you're asking for any sort of information from the user, you need to put that at the top. So that's new. The next thing that's new is this. We are going to create a scanner, so we can call it scanner input. Now this is a variable name. So you can call that whatever you want, but you have to use that variable, whatever variable name later on in the program. So I like to call it input, and then we say equals new scanner system.name. Okay, so this is also required for. This is also required for input. So far, we haven't actually gotten any input yet. If we were to run this code, so let me just show you, for example, if I compile and run this program, or let me just try to compile it. So you see I got no errors there. If I try to run it, still says it's compiling. It tells you the status here at the bottom, so mine's got it. But there's nothing happens, right? This double arrow means the program ran, nothing executed. So it did create this scanner, but we didn't actually ask for any input. Now, if I take this line out by commenting it out, this comments, take that line out and try to compile it. You do it. So comment out that top line and try to compile it. What happens? What happens when you try to compile it? You guys can talk in this class, by the way. What happens when you try to compile it?
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work, right? You get an error. It says, I don't know what this scanner thing is. So I'm just showing you what this line is for. This line is required for this line, and this line is required to get input. We haven't actually gotten any input yet. So make sure we put that one back in. So it's saying, I don't know what a scanner is. Okay, so now we actually want to get input. Now, in CodeHS, it was a lot simpler, right? We didn't have to create we didn't need this, and we didn't need this. And the prompt, who can remind me what a prompt is? What's a prompt?
Like a message from the program to the user asking for some information.
Exactly. A message from the program to the user. So prompting for information, like, please enter your birthday, please enter your age, please enter your name. Those things are all prompts. Please enter your favorite food. Remember that one? Right? Those are prompts. Now in CodeHS, it was all in one line, right? You could do something like this: string, name, because you wanted to store the user's name into a string. And then you would say read line, and then you put your prompt here, please enter your name. Right? It was nice and easy. Right? Unfortunately, so this was the, let's say here, code, you don't have to type this, CodeHS way, right? So they made it easy, right? If you wanted to get an integer, you go int, age, read int, please enter, and it was all one line. Now we need this scanner. We need this. You only need one scanner though. Okay, so the offline way is now we have to put a system.out.println line first with our prompt. So system.out.println. Say, for example, please. Hey. Or it could be system.out.print if you wanted it to go on the same line. So if I wanted to go on the same line, I could take off the ln, the input. Okay, now we write our string because we asked for their name, so that's a string, right? That's string information. So string name equals, and now we have to use the name of the scanner, whatever name we gave the scanner here. So here we gave it, we called it input. So we're going to go input dot next line. So this will read next line instead of read line. This reads an int. So you can see we require 3 lines of code to get input, whereas before, and 4 if you count this one, the import line, before it was just 1 line of code on CodeHS. So yes, input is a little bit more complicated. Now, this line and this line are only required once, right? And then then you can use, then it's 2 lines per input. Does that make sense? So if we were to compile and run this now. So here we can't put the prompt inside. That's the difference. We can't put the prompt inside. We have to put the prompt before. So now it says, please enter your name. And I can put here David, right, as user input. Now that David went into the variable name. So give that a try running it. Then the rest of the code you could do the same. So for example, you could do system.out.print. Hello, David. Or sorry, not hello, David. Hello, plus name. So late. Right, so you can run that code again. Please enter your name. So now I can put Kevin. And it says, hello, Kevin. So only the input is different from CodeHS. Now, what about if we wanted to get an integer? We could say, for example, system.out.println, please enter your age. Without the ln, actually. Now we can go int age gets, and again we can use input. Input dot next. What do you think it is? Next line. What am I asking for? Next int with a capital I. Was that Ash? Oh, Ash. So next int, and of course the other one would be next double. If you were trying to ask for a double, you would go next double. Okay. And then you could say system.out.println, and we could say something like name plus comma, you are very old. Right? Or we could even give that information back to them in some way. But that's how we get the inputs. So please enter your name. And we could say Ash. It says, hello, Ash, please enter your age. And we say 17. I think you're 16. And then it says Ash. Oh, cool. Happy belated. We missed your birthday. Oh, we have to sing today?
No,
No?
no.
2 weeks later. So there you have it. Okay, so that 17 went into the age. So if you wanted to read a double, it's the other major one. So to read a double, go double var name, whatever variable name equals input dot next double. And that would be the command. Okay, of course, you want to put a prompt here. So system.out.println prompt double. So you want to do that, and then you would do that for next double. So, and again, input is the name of the scanner that we have created. Input. So this scanner line only has to happen once, and the import line only has to happen once. And then you have to do prompt followed by the input, prompt followed by the input. Make sense? Yep. So think of the scanner. So just kind of memorize that line. The scanner input equals new scanner system.in. That's actually an object, and so grade 12 will learn about objects later on in the course. For now, just think of it like a scanner is the device. It's the thing that we need to gather inputs. So we need to create that scanner, and we memorize that line. Scanner input equals new scanner system.in. Now that input is a variable name. That's the only thing that can be changed on that line. Everything else should be the same. So you create a scanner, and then you can use that scanner throughout your code to then gather inputs. So you can gather strings with next line. You can gather integers with next ints, and you can gather doubles with next double. Now, unlike CodeHS, you could gather booleans, right? There's no command to gather a boolean here, so you have to do it in a different way. You could either gather a string, and based on that string, like it's true or false as a string, you could convert it into a boolean. But that's a little bit more advanced. We'll get to that next time. All right. Any questions on input? With the input command. So like I said, this file is automatically saved in the grade 11 AM folder. I can also save it in the grade 12 folder. You guys need it if you haven't typed it up. So this is what I want you to do now. The rest of the classes. You've got a half an hour left. I want you to take the adding fractions program that you did in CodeHS. So the add fractions program in CodeHS. It was 2.4, the last one. CodeHS. And I want you to now write it in JGraphs. So create a file for adding fractions and write it in JGraphs. But you will have to convert the input, right? So you'll have to use public static void main instead of public void run. So you can copy and paste the whole thing and make the adjustments for JGraphs. So there's only a few things that have to be changed. The the programming template has to be changed, plus the input has to be changed. You're getting 4 inputs, so you'll have to change the way you get the inputs. Sound good? All right, so I'm going to. Stop the share there. So again, taking your add fractions, HLS, and trying to code it up into JGraphs. Also, if you look at lesson 7 in the Blue Pelican Java textbook, so under textbook resources at the very top, course information on Brightspace. If you go to course information, textbook resources, and you can read about the inputs that I just showed you on lesson 7. It says Blue BPJ textbook, not the Java Carter textbook, the BPJ. You will find all of the